To all of you, welcome home. I know you've been evicted. Yes, this is your first time back. History will record this pandemic year as a time of deep hardship and torrid struggle for all of us. I just happened to live stream my first cousin's funeral at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, it was 11 in Ireland. Sister Anya Walsh, 97, going on 98 years old, who died of COVID. She had been in a nursing home and she had been safe for a whole year. And this was her funeral mass. It was spitting snow outside. A small group of people were huddled outside in the cold. And people with big coats, there was 10 of them allowed inside. The whole thing was so COVID cold. Or maybe you've seen the instance of the grandmother or mother who said farewell to all her family through a window pane. It was so cold, it sort of rips at your heartstrings. And yet, thank God, now we have the arrival of the new miracle vaccine, and even with current shortage, gives us a profound sense of hope of delivering us from this torrid time. As people of faith, this hope guides us on our journey, and we need hope as a light in darkness. And this hope springs from God, who loves all of us intimately this Valentine's Day and beyond. Hope is what we have left when all our little hopes are gone, our terrestrial hopes. And the two disciples on the road to Emmaus, we had been hoping. They had little hopes and they were all dashed and they were heading home. And then they encountered the stranger who is the foundation of all hope. They met Christ, recognized him, and turned their lives around and went back to Jerusalem. Hopes indeed are like that. They're just like flags. This way today, that way tomorrow. But on the memoriam card, as I was growing up all those years, I have often seen an anchor. And the anchor is Christ. That come what may, whatever pandemic comes our way, we shall never be blown away because we have Christ and the merits of his passion, death, and resurrection. As the people of God, this resilient hope resides also in the heart of the church. And the church ministers that hope indeed to others, which is why we're here this weekend talking about the mission of the church and how to support that in supporting so many other ventures, which are outlined on your brochure. The theme, of course, is renewing hope. What an appropriate theme in a year like this. All will be well, so says Julian of Norwich. That's the essence of hope, that rooted in Christ, all will be well and all will end well. The voice of each pastor this weekend resonates with the same message of hope to all the communities throughout San Diego, so that we're all in this together. It's worth noting that St. Gregory's Parish last year gave an unprecedented amount toward annual Catholic appeal. Imagine that kind of hope and that kind of light in darkness in a year of pandemic. The response of God's people in the months ahead will renew that hope and renew the hope of the people who are the beneficiaries of your generosity and your love and your sacrifice. In the gospel, we have all heard, I'm sure something in that gospel touched you, but the word that leaps from the pages of the gospel, of today's gospel, for me, is touch. Touch. The touch of the untouchable. And in the past year, we have been the untouchables of social distancing, keeping us apart. It's like, unclean, unclean. Nobody come near me. Nobody can. Because that's how, indeed, we are told to try to protect ourselves. But we have hope for warmer times, don't we? Yeah, with the help of God, now with the vaccine. But in the gospel, falling down at the feet of Jesus, the leper makes the leper's prayer. Jesus is his only hope. He's his last hope. It took a lot of courage to step out when the lepers are supposed to stay apart outside the city. And he fell down at the feet of Jesus and said, the leper's prayer, if you wish, you can make me clean. If you wish, you can make me clean. Jesus, moved with pity, put his hand upon him and said, I do wish, be made clean. That prayer comes before us today. It comes to us as the call of the gospel. If you wish, if you will, you can renew hope. You can touch the lives of many who are less fortunate. You can help the mission of the local diocese. We can reach out with hope to 300,000 people through Catholic community services, Catholic and non-Catholic. We don't give because they're Catholic. We give because we're Catholic, and that's what we do as Catholics, what we've done down the years, down the millennia, how we have established hospitals and institutions of great learning as wonderful legacies that the Church passes on to us today. Because the Church is renowned for taking care of not only its own people, but anyone who is in need of help. We can reach out to the formation of young priests, and don't forget, older priests. They need a lot of formation, those older priests. And then the Church reaches out with care for our retired priests. And we are so blessed to have two retired priests with us, Father Jim Rafferty and Monsignor Michael Gallagher, who was indeed the head of the Diocesan Tribunal and then pastor of Our Lady of Grace all those years. That man could step up here this evening and give you an annual appeal talk off the cuff. He's given it so many times. And we remember them as we think of annual appeal. You can reach out to keep Catholic schools open. Christ is the reason for our Catholic school. And to keep a Christ presence in the inner city is a wonderful part of the mission of the Church, the hope of tomorrow. And of course, there's evangelization and faith formation, young adults and youth, prison ministry coordinators, all in need of formation of faith formation teachers, and not only that, but directors of faith formation programs in parishes throughout the diocese. The diocese lends toward their formation. Yes, you can, if you will. What was that we used to say? The mission entrusted to you, if you choose to accept it, is the same message that comes out of the gospel, comes straight out of the gospel. And if you would take your brochure, the one you received coming in, you received a letter from me, indeed, during the week, with a brochure and a letter from the pastor. But if you would take a look at that and see if you can make your pledge. I want to make a pledge, as I do every year. I gave 500 last year. I'm going to make it 6 this year. And if you can give more, great. And particularly if you've never given at all, we're all in this together. Maybe you want to join to be part of the faith community response to the support of the mission of the diocese, helping in so many ways. And a number of you know how this works. You can either you can pledge what you do. You can either make a check out today for some of it or all of it. You can break it down and give it over the course of 12 months. You can give it online, or give by credit card. The church will take your money any way you give it. And all of this indeed goes directly to the diocese. And you place it indeed in the collection basket. By the way, we're online. And welcome to all of you who are live streaming and are with us for Mass this evening. We were supposed to be online for the 9 o'clock Mass, and I was keeping all my P's and Q's because it's going out to the whole world. They tell me after Mass, a lady drove up after Mass and she said, "How come you're not live streaming today? You said we will have no more live streaming. Why is that?" Well, I said, I don't know. But now I have it figured out that live streaming was for outside and we are inside. And we somehow never made the adjustment. But to all of you out there, we're glad indeed that you are with us. Hope you are all indeed keeping well. And we invite you also, if you wish, to be part of our parish response to Catholic Annual Appeal 2021. For all of you, you can place this in the basket and do please now mine is filled out because they all know who Father Nick is, okay? Right? And I will leave it there on the altar. But for safety's sake, do take your brochures home with you. Thank you indeed for listening. And this is a great moment in the Valentine's Day Annual Catholic Appeal for the pastor because he's finished.